Welcome to Wicked Rolls. This is the review episode where we're going to talk to you a little bit more about what we thought of You Wake Up in a Strange Place.
You awaken in a strange place.
You awaken in a strange place. So the first episode, you can watch that and learn more about it. You can watch the story as we play. And now that we're done playing, we get to chat a little bit about what we thought of the system so you can identify if you want to purchase it for yourself and try playing it with your friends. So I'll ask y'all the first question, which is, what was your favorite thing about using this system?
I enjoy this system as a brand new player to role playing. There's not a whole lot of rules. It's not very intimidating. There's ample opportunity to ask questions as you go. It was just a simple mechanic and process, and I enjoy that. It's a good introduction to what could be.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
Yeah, for me as someone who definitely prefers the role-playing aspect of these games, with these rules-light games, you definitely get in what you get out what you put in with, these types of games. And so I don't think it's for everyone, but it's a lot of fun. I personally really enjoy the system, and I like that the players get to, create the world. I find that as a DM, when you spend 2 weeks prepping for a session, there's a lot of, pressure or expectation. And this game is, the whole thing is no prep. Everyone shows up and kind of comes up with a story, and I think it definitely creates a unique experience.
Yeah, as a player, my favorite thing was that I'm a thespian, I've taken improv classes, and this just kind of takes me back to the whole yes and. Like, you never know what's going to happen. All the rules are kind of thrown out the window. We just get to be creative. And creativity is such an important part for all aspects of our lives. So it's so important to be able to flex that muscle. As a GM, what's your favorite thing?
Because the complexity of the world being built, some of it is out of your hands. I do appreciate that they used the Powered by the Apocalypse system of 2d6 plus. And then the GM's job is to respond to what happens to what you're attempting. If I had to roll in addition to that, this would be a much harder game. But I do appreciate that it makes it so that you guys are more or less essentially creating the story, and I get to help make it in conjunction to the pathways that you're trying to go through, and just whether the failures or successes happen from there leads the story into certain specific directions.
On the flip side of that, what's your least favorite thing from the system?
I could definitely see, probably easy to have you could probably vary in quality. You could probably play this game 10 times, and you're definitely going to have sessions that you prefer over other sessions, because I'm not saying Spaghetti Western was a bad pick, but
No, it was. You can say.
no.
Who knows how much of that still exists at this point?
I tried to say that, but not the infomercial.
Yeah. So, and like, not that that's anyone's fault. It's just sometimes ideas don't click, and usually improv and going with your instinct and like writing down makes for good concept, but sometimes it can definitely, vary. And yeah, there's no real quality control in these games. It's kind of on mostly the DM.
The main aspect of this game is no one, including the DM, gets to pre-prepare anything, which, agreed, can be a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that your least favorite thing about?
I still like that this is a part of the rules, but I would say if I had to pick a least favorite out of them, it is that, like, not only do we have to make sure that the world kind of fits everyone's view or perspective of what they wanted, which is fine, that's what a normal TTRPG is supposed to be. But in addition, I have to make all of the statements, no matter how far off base they are, story relevant and function, and be a part of the plot and show up. Like, I almost forgot the TV thing right up until the end there to kind of force you guys to panic.
That was beautifully used.
Yeah, that was.
And then you have to make all of the skills actually like matter in things, which again, with the non-preparation,
hit all of them at least once.
Yeah, the DM does get like extra time to kind of prepare when you have like a 5-minute thing, but you do have to make all of the skills be relevant, and some of them are very easy to plan plots around or little incidents, and then others are much harder to do that. Making sure that everything's relevant won't ever go the way that you want, but this game makes that much wilder. So it involves a lot of like, how well do the players play together, which makes this like, you want people that will communicate and will work together and will talk to make the narrative interesting and work. Because there are a lot of things that as the GM I can do. But ultimately this game is very player forward. Like, you guys by far have the most power in this. I'm reactive to what it is that you do.
I think there's two things that I don't love about it. One is just how the dice roll determines the order in which we pick things. Because
Oh, at the start?
yeah, because I'm so used to board games where it's like, if you pick first, I pick second, you pick third, then the next time you pick first and we go backwards so that it kind of evens out. Because I've been at the caboose of that and it sucked having like 8 other
Yeah.
good or bad skills already taken, and you end up with whatever characters kind of left over, or the skills that are left over, and so it's challenging. It kind of makes one character more powerful than the others in some ways, especially when we already know the genre, the location. Like when you picked drifting for when we were at the car dealership
At the racetrack.
and yeah, like in a previous game that we played.
Okay.
And because you got first, you got that, and you got like some other really good skills, and I ended up with a character that
Hugging.
hugging was my skill.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. So I would say that would be the only thing that I would change about the game, and then the other thing is we never seem to use adjective very well.
Oh,
It's just-
Grandiose.
Grandiose.
Yeah. and then-
you mix the L and the I.
It was the French I was playing the whole time. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just I feel like maybe there is too much for the GM to incorporate. So, and even us.
Yeah.
To incorporate into creating this world. Okay, so then the next thing is, how easy was it for y'all to use it? You already mentioned it a little bit.
I don't know. I think I put it somewhere in the middle. I think
Middle?
I wouldn't recommend it for a new DM.
Oh yeah, for DM, yes.
I don't know if I would use it for a first time group. Yeah.
So you're saying it's not super easy?
Yeah, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd say a 3 or 4.
I don't know. For me, from a player's perspective, I thought that the game was actually pretty easy. The hardest part is just the beginning, the world and character building. Having to come up with these concepts and ideas on the spot with nothing to really draw from.
And that's just me of thinking from players that
Right.
don't role play, don't want to role play, don't have trouble getting into character. You know, like if those are your strengths, then this is going to be a lot easier for you. But if you're someone who likes to make a build in D&D, then this is not.
That's also not a beginner from what you were just saying.
I would
You
put D&D at
recommend
like
for
4 or 5.
teen people.
No?
Oh well, some of the games that Dylan has brought to the table, they were really easy. But I also haven't played anything more complex than D&D.
Yeah.
Like all the games that I've played,
From
they're
my
equivalent.
experience, rules light does not necessarily mean easy.
That is true, and that's one interesting thing about this game is that I want to say it's easy because it's rules light. You don't have to know a lot of rules, but I also feel like there's a very specific skill set that you have to have in order to play this game that you can't
It's more
teach people. Rules you
Yeah.
can teach people. This particular improv, like I know there's improv in like any type of role playing, but I feel like with this, you have to accept the craziness. And with D&D, yeah, we're already used to like the whole fantasy world. With this, you just really have to just toss it out the window, and this is the world.
So you're saying the system is easy, it's the players that might make it difficult.
It's not the players making it difficult, is that the players need to have a skill set. That improv.
Right, but them lacking the skill set would make
Yes.
it
Adapt
difficult.
to the ever-changing situation.
Whereas something where you actually have a class and a level, like you have to memorize a character sheet, so that's obviously, you could consider to be a little bit more difficult, but once you learn that character sheet, you're just playing a strategy game, you just have to know what spells to use when, that the game is gonna do some of the work for you, where this is like all on you, like you better know how to play your character.
I agree. For a GM?
For a GM, this one, depending on what style of GM I guess you are, like what type of person you are in terms of telling a story or writing. If you're comfortable with improv, this is pretty easy. If you're not as comfortable with improv or you're like preparing stuff beforehand, you'll probably spend a little bit more time in the 5 minutes before planning out some of those scenes. It's still doable and it's still easy on a comparative scale. It's just more along the lines of how you approach it, and if you're going to end up with a bit more stress or not is its own thing. This is very much a game that, if you are playing with friends, is incredibly easy because you know the people you're playing with and you know how well all of you interact.
Mm-hmm.
And that's ideally what this game ends up being, is you and 3 friends. So from a GM's perspective, all of that, if you're playing with people that you know in some way, shape, or form and you get along with, just generally speaking, then it's pretty easy to keep that kind of thing up, because the story, despite whatever that you set for the genre or anything like that, is going to lean whatever way the people interacting are going to lean towards. And it doesn't matter if there's, Thriller is one that we did that still ended up a lot of comedy, because you very much go toward sarcastic joking and a lot of other things, and making light of the situation constantly, versus if it was a team of people that were a lot more serious or whatnot, they might have had an entirely different game.
Correct.
But whoever chose those to be the players would already have a general idea of how it's going to turn out by then.
Yeah.
So who would you? Did you speak? Okay. Who would you recommend this to, and who would you not recommend this to? And we kind of already alluded to it, but
I think it's kind of like how he said, it's for groups of friends. For me, when I would imagine using this game for myself and my groups, would be spur of the moment. This isn't hey, we're playing this game 2 weeks from now. It's hey, we're all hanging out. What do we want to do? Well, we could play Awaken in a Strange Place, and on the spot, no thought needs to be in it. And now you're playing.
It is a very good player canceled last minute replacement game.
It's great for stuff like that. We had a party the other week and we didn't get to play, but that was kind of our plan. Hey, we'll just bust out Awaken in a Strange Place if everyone wants to do something. So
yeah, and I agree. Or maybe if you have a really emotionally draining campaign. Or just that one session.
We need to not take ourselves seriously for a day.
You need a reset.
It's good for stuff like that.
I would recommend it. The way I look at this is the party game equivalent to role playing.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Where it's about having fun.
You
Yes,
could turn
can
this
do-
into a drinking game, probably super easy. Super easy.
Some of us did. But yeah, you can take this serious, but I think you lose the heart of this game, where it is supposed to expand your mind.
Part of the rules explicitly of this, when you look at the PDF, it says this game will get absolutely ridiculous. You need to understand this is not
To be taken too seriously.
Yeah, this is not the type of thing where if you're looking for active conflicts and fighting and that kind of stuff, this game will be ridiculous and you have to embrace that.
There are rules like games that do that. I think probably a little better. Wouldn't you say?
Do what?
More serious tones.
Yes. There are absolutely, Dread is a very good one.
Okay. Yeah.
For that, where we might get there. But if not, you essentially use a Jenga tower as what you're doing, and
yes.
how stressful or how dangerous the thing is you pull that many Jenga pieces, and if the tower falls, your character is out for however, depending on how you play it. But that would be much more of an example of a rules-like game, which is role-playing with actionable things, essentially.
Makes sense.
Any thoughts?
Nothing significant I can add that you guys haven't already. Seal the approval.
I would very much agree generally with who to suggest this to. Is groups of people that either already are friends or like it seems like you might be able to be friendly and you want to just have fun, mess around and kill a couple hours. I would advise it to people that like telling stories. If storytelling is not your thing, this is not necessarily the system for you. This is not one that you can actively like move away from.
This is our third time
Yep.
playing it, and Dylan, I'm sure you played like a lot.
I've basically run this game every time that I would try it as a player, yeah, sure.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. I think this is. We always have an incredible time every single time we play. Something else I really like about it is that I get to create characters that I wouldn't play for campaigns.
And the more that I find that we play this, like the more like just crazy I want to get with it. Like next time, I would probably pick something that I would never pick just to see what would happen, you know.
And by the rules, it always ends in one session. So if you want to try out like an idea or if you just want to have fun, you're going to be done with it. There's no part 2 and you don't have to worry about prepping or anything. So if there's something on your mind, you just get to do that thing.
Awesome. So thank you all so much for playing with me, and thank you, Dylan, for being an awesome GM as always. And we'll see you for the next time for another short campaign story. We'll be playing a new system, so you get to see what that is like. And yeah, so thank you so much. Bye.